This is that one song that you heard so many times, and every time you hear it, you're like, I'm not gonna bump to this song. But then you start catching a vibe. I'm sorry, not sorry. Yeah. East Coast with the gang, gang, gang. West Coast with the gang, gang, gang. Lower with the gang, gang, gang. You know we don't play gang, gang. East Coast with the gang, gang, gang. West Coast with the gang, gang, gang. Lower with the gang, gang, gang. You know we don't play gang, gang. East Coast with the gang, gang, gang. West Coast with the gang, gang, gang. Lower with the gang, gang, gang. You know we don't play gang, gang. East Coast with the gang, gang, gang. West Coast with the gang, gang, gang. Lower with the gang, gang, gang. You know. Yeah. Whoa. East Coast with that gang, gang. You know we don't play games, whoa. Hop up on that wagon, oh please just get out the way. You know we stay stuntin', right up in your face. We sorry, not sorry, we just stuck up in our ways. West Coast go ahead, stand up, put that glass and hands up. Gang, 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 we famed up. Got that change, we bagged up. Cool love, we stay manned up. Ahem like I'm wheezy, yeah. Rap game just too easy, drip so sick I'm queasy, whoa. East Coast with the gang, gang, gang. West Coast with the gang, gang, gang. Lower with the gang, gang, gang. You know we don't play gang, gang. East Coast with the gang, gang, gang. West Coast with the gang, gang, gang. Lower with the gang, gang, gang. You know we don't play gang, gang. East Coast with the gang, gang, gang. West Coast with the gang, gang, gang. Lower with the gang, gang, gang. You know we don't play gang, gang. East Coast with the gang, gang, gang. West Coast with the gang, gang, gang. Lower with the gang, gang, gang. Yeah. Watch me finesse, walk to the line. Good versus evil, God in his prime. Always in prime, always on time. Our time to shine. Wifey is fine, I'm doing fine. Glad that you asked. God fill me
He's
up,
heating
mud
up.
in my glass. God clean me up, all that I ask. Wherever
No
you headed the fast. I am ahead, you are in last. Last time I checked, you were all gas. Gas in the whip, whipping up fast. Fast and all furious, I'm starting to spaz. Getting all curious, you put me on blast. Blasting that Darius, kids in the back. Back to the future is black. Black like T'Challa, Wakanda attack. East Coast with the gang, gang, gang. West Coast with the gang, gang, gang. Lower with the gang, gang, gang. You know we don't play gang, gang. East Coast with the gang, gang, gang. West Coast with the gang, gang, gang. Lower with the gang, gang, gang. You know we don't play gang, gang. East Coast with the gang, gang, gang. West Coast with the gang, gang, gang. Lower with the gang, gang, gang. You know we don't play gang, gang. East Coast with the gang, gang, gang. West Coast with the gang, gang, gang. Lower with the gang, gang, gang. You know we don't play gang, gang.
I'm funny how? I mean funny like I'm a clown, I amuse you.
The following program is rated TV MANOC. It contains a big pair of nuts directly on your chin. It is intended only for mature audiences. Viewer discretion advised.
This is not about freedom. I'll use my power to get them out of the way. Come on. I got hairy legs.
Obesity is epidemic in the United States and a major cause of death.
What is fat activism?
I, a fat person, am sharing my own lived experience.
Pizza is a vegetable.
Your fat phobia is your problem.
It is not my place as a smaller-bodied white man to comment on it.
Radical body positivity.
What can men do against such reckless hate?
There's only one man who can help me.
This is for you new people. I only have one rule. Everyone fights, no one quits.
This day we fight!
That's a huge bitch! The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, the bacon is sizzling. Welcome to the Daily Swole.
Testing. Testing, testicles. Ooh. Welcome everyone to episode 22 Hundo and Siete of the Daily Mother Swole, the most muscular swolecast, beercast, broadcast, gamecast, mancast, pimpcast, sleevescast, and slaycast in the realm. Because when I flex, you flex, we all flex our biceps. What's going on, beaches, booshes, busters, hustlers, and yo hoes? It's your boy Papa Swolio back with another episode. In today's episode, the Beastcast is powered, is sponsored by Everest and K2 Flexin on all of you
It's the fucking Catalina wine mixer.
It's the fucking Catalina wine mixer.
How we doing, Beaches? What's going on, Excel? How we doing, Keith? Jennifer, Jen, Matthew, Wax, Master Pablo, Twisted Yoga Girl, Brian, how we doing, Glowing Artiste, Pedro, Tyler, Earl of Sandwich, Ash, Elizabeth, Cerny. Welcome, everyone. Let's fucking get hydrate a little bit. Welcome. Happy Sunday. It is May the 20 dose and episode 2207. It is Ask Papa Swolio Live. So we are going to jump right into today's episode. A reminder that tomorrow's episode at 12 noon Eastern time is for members only. It's our weekly accountability meeting. So don't forget about that. You can learn more and join the fam right now. SwolenormousX.com. Live call goes down at 12 noon Eastern time. So tomorrow's episode private for members only. Now settle down. I know you can join the fam and you can be there. So we'll talk tomorrow. Best way to start the week with the Swole fam. But today we are taking tons of questions. So make sure you start dropping your questions in the comments down below. Hashtag Ask Papa Swolio. Let's bust this nut open and get today started. It's going to be fucking fire. Put some respect on it, you beesh. Would you smash? Drop it in the comments down below. All right, Leo, drinking like a raging alcoholic. Put the liquor down. Put the sparkling bone broth down. Hashtag Swole Cake for a chance to win today's Swole card because you know it's all about that cake gender, fam.
Another example of cake gender would be if someone feels like they have different layers or flavors to their particular gender.
If you tend to think that you have different layers or flavors to your particular gender, you probably are a Swole Cake. So drop that. We're dishing out free slices of Swole Cake all episode today. All right, drop that hashtag in the comments down below. Let's get into the first questions. Reminder, tomorrow, again, is our weekly accountability meeting. So tomorrow at 12 noon Eastern time. And of course, if you didn't catch this week's overtime segment dropped on Friday, private live stream right after the FEFcast. It's available now inside Swole TV. So if you missed it earlier, you can go and catch that replay right now inside Swole TV. Show. So we got a big week coming up. We also have our balls deep for summer. We'll talk about that from Tuesday all the way through the end of the week. Next Monday, the time to be announced. We have a major release event, so it's gonna be fucking fire. We got so much stuff going on. May is almost coming to a close, and it's been a pretty intense month of Schmay. All right, let's take the first question. Famwise, are you ready? Ask Papa Swolio.
What's in the box?
It's your show, fam. It's your show. You could drop whatever you want. I'm just recovering from this week of shit posts. It was fucking brutal, right? Tons of Matt Damon.
You can be fat and be healthy. I'm sorry, Lizzo, healthier than I will ever be.
A very stressful week for the Swole fam. It's been very stressful here. It's been out of control. We've been just inundated with just the most ridiculous shit. It's out of control. I don't even know what happens next. I don't know where we go from here, fam. I don't know if we can save. I don't know if we can save this place. I don't know. It's going down. It's going down. It's been a rough week. All right. First question from Daving FV. Papa Swolio, what's the proper way to take creatine? In your mouth. Inconceivable. Take it in your mouth, Daving. You definitely don't want to put creatine in your asshole. I don't recommend it. The absorption is not as good. Don't ask me how I know, but trust me. Orally is the best way to consume creatine. You just need to take a good micronized creatine or creatine monohydrate. If you have digestive issues, you can play around with those other types, but you're fine. Just take 5 grams of creatine. You can have creatine. I take creatine. It's great. It's found in red meat. But everyone's going to react differently to it, but it's definitely a good product. It's good for the brain. It's good for your muscles. Just mix in with some water. You could have it, try it, see what you like. First thing in the morning, after a workout, or before bed. Sometimes that some people like to take it. But you don't have to load or do anything crazy like that. But ladies, if you want to start, it's always good to start with like 2.5 or 3 grams a day. Nothing wrong with that. You could always bump it up to 5. All right. Let's see here. Dun, 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 dun. Simon Weber, 199. Papa Swolio, how do you know if you must start a cut? If you want to cut. How do you know if you must start a cut? There's no rules in this life, bro. There's no fucking rules. You can cut when you want. Most people try to cut before they actually have anything to cut to. So oftentimes you have someone that's like skinny fat. They don't really have any muscle and they say, hey, how do I cut? I want to build muscle and lose fat. No, dude, you need to bulk. You need to put on some fucking muscle. Bulk doesn't mean fat. Bulk doesn't mean just gaining weight. Bulk doesn't mean you're getting chunky. Bulking means you're putting on muscle. You're going to put on some fucking size. It's not the weight. You want to put on some lean mass. So there is no, how do you know you must start a cut? But build muscle. Focus on building muscle. Don't eat in a crazy excess. Get enough protein. Strength training. Join in on the Daily Swole podcast. Give us some more context. That was from Instagram, so we don't have all the details. But most people need to put on some fucking muscle. Yeah. There's nothing to cut to, right? If you just think, hey, I'm fat, but I want to cut down. A lot of people think that you're fat, you're obese, and you want to cut down. Well, there's nothing to cut to. There's no muscle mass. So you have to make sure you build muscle, and then you'll cut down on fat over time. All right, Shawnee Boygru, Papa Swolio, how do you like your steak, Papa Swolio? What's your favorite exercise? Well, that was 2 random questions. Most people don't even get a solid question in. You actually got 2 in that space. Plus a hashtag SwoleFam. Not bad. Well done. Well done, good sir. Well done. How do I like my steak? In my mouth again. Again, I don't recommend anal steak. I don't recommend any other orifice. Eye steak, ear steak, mouth steak, nose steak. Not as good, but orally is amazing. I like it medium rare to rare. Depends on the cut of the steak. Yum, yum, yum. I like my steak. My favorite exercise? I don't have one. I don't have a favorite exercise. I have ones that I do more prominently now than maybe in the past, but I don't try to pick favorites. Meat in the mouth. Put the meat in the fucking mouth. Everyone
We
knows
choose truth over facts.
All right, weightlift and prop. Papa Swolio, how do I flip that switch in my brain to moderate my sugar intake? What is going on with all these questions? How do I flip that switch in my brain? What was this? How do you know if you must start a cut? What do you mean flip that switch in my brain to moderate my sugar intake? Moderate. What's moderating about it? Stop eating sugar that shouldn't be in your fucking face hole. Eat real food. Get some fruit if you want sugar. You shouldn't be just eating processed sugar. How do I flip that switch in my brain? By changing your fucking habits? How do I flip? There's no switch in your brain. There's nothing like that. You don't have like a brain switch. You need to actually want to change and then change your fucking habits. Get rid of that shit in your house. Number 1, I would say get rid of that shit. Make sure it's not in your house. Make sure it's not around you. Siu Barashiks. Papa Swolio, please, a way to gain weight fast for skinny guys besides people saying eat more. I'm trying. Well, guess what? I'm going to tell you. Eat more. Fucking eat more. Oh, you can. A way to gain weight fast besides people saying eat more. You're looking for a shortcut, bro. You need to fucking eat more and be patient. You're not going to gain weight overnight. So you need to lift fucking weights. Lift weights. You don't want to get fat too. Lift weights. Lift heavy weights. Eat more protein. And eat more fucking food. You can't cut corners with that. You're not going to, there's no shortcut. Hey, how do I gain weight faster than just eating more? Come on, fam. Let's see. Tiff, Papa, I get shit for working out in the morning on a complete empty stomach. I usually do strength or cardio 30 to 40 minutes. Do you think it's wise? Yeah, sure. Why not? Who gives you shit? Someone who doesn't work out? I knew that. I knew I was going to swallow the water. I was going to try to breathe it. Oh, God.
Crucifixion? Good. Out of the door, line on the left, one cross each.
I'm like Papa Swolio. Papa Swolio, every time she drinks, she like coughs her brain out. It's like, you can't drink water. How'd you survive this long in your life if you can't drink water? Working out an empty stomach is fine. If you have never worked out an empty stomach before, you might not be used to it from the start. So it might feel weird. You might feel lightheaded. You might feel a little bit off at the beginning when you first start working out an empty stomach, but you'll get used to it. Who cares? They give you shit. If you feel good doing it, then do it. Some people want to eat a little bit, something light. Some people, everyone's different. Depends on what time of a day you train. Matt, Papa Swole, do you like smoked brisket? Maybe. I think I've had stuff like that before. I just don't have the patience to cook or to do a long cook for beef like that. I just like my steak. I like my steak. I like it in my mouth, but we have been on a kick with our bone broth that we make. We make bone broth. Mama Swolio takes the grass-fed beef, ground beef. We put it in the cast iron, like in chunks. And then we have a little bit of white rice, and we just put it in the soup. So we make like this real nice beef. I wouldn't call it a beef stew, but we just put the beef chunks in the beef broth, and it's amazing. It's a great way to, it's so good. So we've been on that kick lately. I've been really in a hardcore bone broth mood. So that's been the thing that we've done a lot. And then aside from that, we just do other types of steaks, whether it's skirt steak or ribeye, or we just made another batch of grass-fed jerky from London Broil. A good question. Kim, Papa Swolio, do you think it matters what type of flooring you work out on, such as carpet, hardwood, or concrete? Does it matter? Yeah, it absolutely matters. So it really depends on what you're doing. I mean, it matters so far as you are able to handle whatever resistance or whatever surface you're training on. So if you're undertrained, for example, and you're doing jumping on concrete, you're going to hurt yourself. You're going to get a stress fracture. You're going to have tendonitis. You're going to have any number of overuse injuries or impact injuries. So in terms of carpet or hardwood, you don't want to slip. You don't want to fall. It really depends on what type of exercise. So if you're on a hardwood floor and you throw it on a yoga mat for a yoga class, that's fine. Even concrete, you might throw it on a yoga mat and you're fine because you're doing a yoga class, for example. But if you're doing resistance training, it depends on if the floor is going to be slippery, if you're sweating on it, if you're doing some sort of deadlifts. Are you in like an apartment? Do you need crash pads or something that's going to buffer the impact if you're going to be dropping a weight? But you can get flooring pretty inexpensive. You can get horse stall mats, or you can get these little rubber mats on top. We have out here, because we have tile. So the inside gym, we have just those kind of like inexpensive foam mats they can get on Amazon. But then we have these like rollouts of rubber they put on top of it. And it's like a perfect, nice compacted floor on top of tiles. That's what we did out here. So it matters, but it depends on what you're doing on the floor. So you don't have to go spending a fortune, but you can also throw down mats for when you need something like that and then roll them up. So there's different ways to do it. Johnny, Papa Swolio, skin is important. Indeed. Do you have a recommendation or favorite soap or body wash? No, I just use a beef tallow soap. You can get them on Amazon, just like grass-fed beef tallow soap. That's all I would use. And then I use jojoba oil as like a moisturizer. It's really similar to natural oils in your skin. So that's what I do for moisturizer. I like single ingredient stuff. That's what I found works well for me. But in terms of skin, it's going to come down to your nutrition, your sleep, and such like that. Davey Dave, Papa Swolio, is it possible at 45 to get as strong as I was in my 20s with good food in your program? I'm unlimited. Well, I don't know how strong you were in your 20s. You can absolutely be as strong as you were in your 20s. I mean, it depends on how strong you were in your 20s. So if you optimally train in your 20s and you optimally train in your 40s, for example, if you've been training professionally at a high level, a lot of people lift more just because, or it depends. Everyone's going to have their peak. But one thing about muscle maturity and mobility is it takes time to build the strength. It takes time to build muscle. It takes time to build that kind of ability to produce force like that. So in terms of training, you'll notice that a lot of people actually do get stronger, more mobile, and actually feel better and perform better with age. It's not necessarily in your early 20s when you're going to be the most muscular or strongest that you can possibly be. It's this when you start earlier like that, you have just more time in which you can build. But getting into your 30s, late 30s, for example, it takes time to build that kind of muscle and strength and skill too, because lifting is a skill, and having that stabilization and having that ability and those skills honed over time. So in terms of when you say in my program, it really depends on how you apply to yourself and what you're trying to do. I don't know what you mean as strong as, like, what kind of lifts are you talking about in particular? So I think when you, as a member of Swolenormous X, implementing yoga and implementing mobility and implementing that type of training protocol with strength training, you can easily, build a tremendous amount of strength. But I don't know your personal situation or what your setbacks are or how long you haven't been training or what you're trying to get back to. Let's see here. I might miss a couple. If I miss a comment here and there, just drop in the comments again. Marissa, Papa Swolio, about 5G. I guess we're talking about cell phones. Someone told me to keep the phone on airplane mode unless it's an emergency. I could buy a piece they sell to try to counteract it, and etc. Should I buy a dumb phone without 5G? Oh, I'm not sure who you were talking to. There are a lot of issues with EMFs in our environment, and it's really hard if you live in a crowded area to avoid that kind of stuff unless you're living in the middle of nowhere. You can get different blockers and things and curtains and stuff that can cut out electromagnetic frequencies. But in terms of cell phones, yeah, I mean, I do recommend if you keep your phone on you, just make sure you put it in airplane mode. Don't keep it on Wi-Fi and Bluetooth when it's in your pocket. Don't keep it by your ball sack or your ovaries, or don't hold it next to your ear. Just try to, I try to minimize any kind of use of AirPods and things like that. They're awesome and they're convenient, but they do, give out strong signals through your brain. And, there's a lot of new technology out there that we don't really know the long-term effects of. So it just makes sense. But for example, if you're living around other houses or you're in an apartment complex, you might not use or put your 5G or your Wi-Fi on. You turn that stuff off at night. But then, of course, you're in an apartment and you have 30 other Wi-Fi towers, going through you. So it's really hard to avoid a lot of those things unless you legitimately live on like your own property away from a lot of these cell towers and things like that. You can keep those things more mitigated. But I recommend not keeping Wi-Fi in your bedroom. Don't bring your phones in your bedroom. Don't keep it on you unless it's in airplane mode if you have it close to your body. Just little things that you can be more mindful for. It's not going to hurt you to be more mindful about it. But it's really hard to quantify because we're around so many of these different things all the time. Even if we take care of it, even if we have it off, neighbors have their Wi-Fi on. And, if you run a Wi-Fi search on your phone or your tablet or something, it'll pick up a bunch of Wi-Fi signals. So that's still going through your body if your phone is picking it up. So it's kind of hard when you're in a concentrated area. Let's see. Brenda, Papa Swolio, I'm too short for full range of motion. Deadlifts on my gym's new taller Smith machines. Suggestions on alternatives for deadlift. You're too short. Oh, you mean, yeah, you can't go as low as you would like to, I guess. Any suggestions for alternatives for deadlifts? You could do single arm or you could do it with dumbbells, for example. RDLs are great. You could also do, I don't know if you have steppers or elevation. You can elevate both feet and you can do deadlifts with a kettlebell or dumbbell between your legs. So RDLs are fantastic. You can also do with a barbell, you could do single leg deadlifts or 2-leg deadlifts. If you have a stepper, you can elevate your feet either on the Smith press, the Smith machine. If you're doing deadlifts there, you could use a hex bar for deadlifts. I'm like, do you have other equipment? Why are you doing deadlifts on a Smith machine anyway? Is kind of what I'm trying to talk around. So there's many ways to do a deadlift. So deadlifts, you can Some people do things like deficit deadlifts. Really, you want to make sure you're in a solid position. But elevating either the bar or your standing position can make up for either leg length or arm length, which can make just doing a standard deadlift uncomfortable for some people. But why are you doing it on a Smith machine? Would it be better for you to just do it from like a barbell on the ground? You could also use a hex bar if your gym has a hex bar. I'm not sure if your gym has a hex bar. Let's see here. Keith, what do you think about people telling me I'm going to have a heart attack by eating meat and eggs in the morning? What do I think? I think a lot of people are going to say a lot of things. I'm used to people disagreeing or saying something, the opposite. Most of what people in society do is unhealthy and ass backwards. Are those people healthy? Are they obese? What's their situation? Usually people that are trying to give you advice aren't the ones that actually take it themselves. Most people are living in the matrix, man. Most people are living in this artificial, fake ass, backwards logic realm. They're following the nonsense that meat is bad. Humans should be eating plants and seeds and leaves in order to get our energy. God, just by eating organ meats for just a couple days, you realize how good you feel. People that are just eliminating animal proteins and animal products from their life are just, it's crazy. You're not going to have a heart attack from that. From eating meat and eggs. Har, har, har. It also depends on how healthy you are in other aspects too, right? It's not just if you're eating meat and eggs, and then also a lot of people that might have had problems, you're eating meat, you're eating eggs, you're drinking a lot of alcohol, you're smoking cigarettes, you're drinking soda. So there's a lot of other things that people do when that can also be a factor. Let's see. Tyler, Papa Swolio, is it necessarily okay to mix push and pull in the same workout same day? Sure. You can do a chest and back workout. I personally like to do, I never really like chest and tris and back and bis, but I do like chest and biceps and back and triceps. I feel like that actually works a little bit better because when you're doing like, chest exercises, like an upper body push, you are working, the biceps are activating and it is working synergistically with the chest. And I like working the triceps with back day because you are working the triceps as well when you're doing back exercise because you're working the long head of the triceps a lot. And I feel that that's a nicer combination in terms of when I train both of them. I feel a better pump. I feel more stable around the joints. I don't feel like I'm overloading certain movements too much. I just like it better. So if you've never tried chest and biceps or back and triceps, that's a great combination. Jardel, Papa Swolio, genetics is the main driver, of course, but is there anything that can help stimulate beard growth? I guess genetics is the most important, but nutrition is too. A lot of people aren't getting enough collagen. They're not sleeping enough, not getting enough healthy fats, enough protein. So a lot of people are, anything that can help stimulate. I wouldn't really know just because I don't have a problem, but my hair quality and my beard quality have improved noticeably for me when I've over time improved my nutrition. So the more that I had improved my nutrition, my hair, skin, and nails, all improved in terms of like thickness, but like soft, just healthier. Twisted Yoga Girl, a few of us in the Telegram chat were talking about body dysmorphia. What are your thoughts about it, if any? What do you mean? Like not thinking you're big enough? I mean, people always see something different than other people see in the mirror. So your perception of yourself is always going to be different than someone else's. So it's pretty much standard. Like everyone's going to have a misinterpretation of what they look like relative, because if someone else is looking at you, they're looking at you through their entire world of experience and all, as a bunch of filters of all their experiences, and you're looking at it from your own perception of your thoughts and insider information and the way you look, for example, versus, in the contrast or in the context of what you've done in terms of your life and what you want and what you didn't do and you could have in terms of training or taking care of your health. And people tend to create their identity around certain things. So it really depends on what your identity is formed by. And if you're putting all your self-worth into having muscle, then, that's your currency. So a lot of people in that sense, they'll want to keep on getting bigger, they never think they're big enough. It's like, well, they're used to seeing a lot of muscle mass in the mirror. So someone who's really huge might not think they're really big because they're used to being that size. They're used to seeing themselves. They've been with themselves every single day. So depends on what you're exposed to. So if you have any more context, those are just some random thoughts about it. But if you have a specific, those are some thoughts, but just kind of random thoughts without context as to like what about it you were curious for. Let's see. Master Pablo. I'm currently taking Bucked Up Woke as Fuck pre-workout, Cree, alkaline, and magnesium. Always open to change it up. Would you recommend any supplements or pre? I don't know what the fuck that is. So if you make your own pre-workout, I would recommend getting the raw ingredients so you don't get all the garbage fillers and stuff that they're putting in those things. I don't know what the fuck that is. But black coffee is just fine. Drinking coffee is just fine before a workout. Matthew, Papa Swolio, I'm new to the protein powder thing. It's going to be my first time buying it. What do you think about creatine? Well, you're all over the place, dude. I'm going to buy some protein powder. Should I get it with creatine or without? What protein powders have creatine in them? You're not required to get these things, dude. So this is a huge marketing, I want to say scam, but it's a big distraction from the things that are more important that are going to get you more results. If you're really spending money on protein powder and creatine, but you're not getting your nutrition, your food, you're not spending enough money on steak or chicken or whatever you have access to, grass-fed beef is what we recommend, and organ meats and all those things, it's not going to make up for you not taking care of your actual food nutrition. That's much more important. So if money's no object and you already have that locked down, then you can maybe play around with some basic supplements, but taking creatine and a protein powder is not going to make or break your results. I never got big because of protein powder and creatine. I got big because I was relentless in eating what I needed to eat when I needed to eat it, regardless of whether or not I was hungry. Like I fucking trained and I ate like a religion, which is what it is, which is how you have to do it. You're welcome, Brenda. You inspired me to go way heavier on legs last week. Yeah, we read your post the other day. That's awesome. Good for you. Making some gains. Good for you. Good for you. All right, Jacob, Papa, I'm a mailman, so I'm basically constantly doing cardio and I got some free weights at home, but I'm more concerned about eating enough. Do you have any suggestions? Well, your body's going to adapt to the cardio type stuff. So, cardio is not optimal in terms of trying to lose fat. You want to build muscle. You want to lift weights, and then eating properly, building lean mass you'll cut down on fat over time. If you're not eating inflammatory food, you're getting sleep and you're focusing on those other aspects of your overall wellness. So you got some free weights. I'm not sure what you're asking. You're concerned about eating enough. So eat more. What's your concern? You definitely need to get enough food. You need to be lifting weights and getting in enough protein. Just make sure your focus is on getting enough protein anywhere just below or up to about 1 gram per pound of body weight. Everyone's going to be a little bit different with their protein requirements, but spreading out meals more frequently if you're trying to build muscle is a good way to get more food in throughout the day. Preparing your food in advance, making sure you're meal prepping is important for a lot of people that are busy during the day and can't make food. You have to just grab something and eat it. Let's see. Serenity now. Let's see. I'm seeing some scrolling down. We're seeing some feedback from some of the other questions. Kaylin, Papa Swolio, have any advice on morning sickness, second baby, and have bad nausea? The smell of meat alone makes me gag. I've only been able to eat plain bread. I'm taking beef liver supplements still though. All right. I don't really have any advice actually. There's some good episodes on Paul Saladino's Fundamental Health podcast. He had someone on recently that was, I think she was, I guess it was a midwife. I think that was an episode recently about, so I would look into that because they were talking about pregnancy, and episodes where he's been on with Dr. Jamie Seaman. We've talked about those in the past. Just really good episodes for women that are prenatal, pregnant, postnatal. Those are really good episodes. So if you have to pause the live stream and go back, but check out that Fundamental Health podcast with Paul Saladino, but check out the episodes with Dr. Jamie Seaman. And those were like I think mid 2021 and the end of 2020. And also one of the more recent ones, it might say in the title, but she was a midwife. So you might get some other input. I don't know if there's anything about morning sickness particularly, but there might have been. But they were about pregnant. How would Papa know he's never been pregnant? I haven't been pregnant, but I mean, it's 2022, so I thought I might try it out, Wax. I thought I might try it out. You never know.
Boys have a penis. Girls have vagina.
I have nipples, Greg. Could you milk me?
Why can't I be pregnant? Why can't I be pregnant? Why not? Why not? How dare you? How dare you?
How dare you?
Where's the compassion? Where's the compassion? You don't know about my lived experience. Sheesh. Sheesh. Master Pablo, Papa Swolio recently got into barbell and Zotman curls. Good man. Been getting great results and good feeling. Any other workouts you would recommend to work the different parts of the bicep? No, the standard ones. I mean, do some incline curls, do some preacher curls, curl heavy, curl hard, do some negatives. Barbell curls are fantastic. Zotman curls are cool. Hammer curls are great. I mean, it's hard to build size, man. I mean, it's all about the effort. You don't need a ton of variety. You can mix it up subtly over the course of your workouts, but volume, weight, don't be afraid to push it. Don't be afraid to push it. Negatives, forced reps, training to failure. It's relentless. I don't train the same way as I used to, but man, like I used to be fucking savage with it. Savage. You got to really, it takes a lot to overload muscle. It's harder than people give it credit for. They think I push a little bit, it feels uncomfortable, and then I took some whey protein, so I'm going to gain muscle. You got to force your body to adapt. You have to put your body in a situation where it doesn't have a choice but to build muscle. Otherwise, you're going to smash it again, and it's going to hurt more. Bulking is fantastic. But it's hard. Barbell curls are one of my favorite exercises. It's such a basic exercise for biceps, but a lot of people get too fancy with cable curls and standing cross cable curls and lying curls. This is fancy shit. Preacher curls are great, whether an easy curl or with single arm preacher curls. Dumbbell curls on incline bench are great. Just doing barbell curls. Zotman curls are cool. Reverse curls are fine, but those basics will really take it for you. But don't forget, if you're trying to get big, you have to work the triceps. That's even more important. So just make sure you're hitting it from different angles. Make sure you're doing like an overhead tricep extension. You're doing one. Cables are great. Bands are great. Incline skull crushers, things like that are fantastic. So, I mean, if you're trying to get bigger arms, don't neglect the triceps. Remember, fam, hashtag swole cake, because you need to be a swole cake gender. That's a good question. Nicholas, as a cake gender, can I have kids? That's a good question. It depends. I guess it depends on how many layers you have. I guess
another example of cake gender would be if someone feels like they have different layers or flavors to their particular gender.
I guess it depends on how many flavors you have. Maybe if the flavors match the layers, then I don't know. That's a very good question. We'll cover that this week, so nobody go nowhere. All right, Jaylee 2077, Papa Swolio, I need to lose or would like to lose at least 50 pounds this year. How would you help me get there? I would not help you do a goddamn thing. You're going to do it yourself. How about that? Hey-o. You like that shit? How would I help you get there? How would you help yourself? You need to lose or would like to lose. How would I help you get there? I'm not a fan of that wording. What are my recommendations? What kind of a general question is that? Everything. Listen to the episodes of the podcast. I'm not going to tell you to do an elimination diet, which you should. It's a lazy question. How would I help you get there? Oh, stop. Listen to the show, do an elimination diet, lift weights, 7 pillars, the whole fucking thing. Not the right timing for that question. Har, har, har. How would I help you lose the weight? Everything we're talking about. David, can you actually lose weight while gaining muscle? Yeah, sometimes if you're brand new to training or if you have a ton of extra body fat to lose. Body fat, not weight necessarily. So sometimes you can, but it's really not something people should be focusing on. People should be focusing on lifting weights, building muscle. If you are obese or you're overweight, focus on lifting weights. You can eat around a maintenance. You have to get in more protein, focus more on protein consumption and healthy fats, keep the carbs lower, make sure you're eating fruit, cut out the inflammatory, polyunsaturated fatty acids, all the vegetable oils, get rid of all the processed carbohydrates and the sodas and the sugars and the breads and the grains, all that stuff. But usually it's from people that are not well trained. They're new to training or they have a lot of fat to lose. All right, let's see. Adel El Shabasi. A couple more questions, fam. Let's see. If I increase protein intake and have a deficit of 200 calories, will I lose fat and gain muscle? If I increase protein intake? Not necessarily. Not necessarily. It depends on your training protocols. It depends on a lot more. It's not just simple math like that. Just because you eat a little bit more protein, first, if I have no context as to what you're doing or who you are, anything about you, it's not just simple math. It's not just eating less and training more, and all of a sudden you're going to have this muscle pop up. You're not going to build muscle just because you're increasing your protein intake. You're not just going to build more muscle. Your body needs to have to build muscle. So that's based on your training. If you're not training properly, you're not going to stimulate muscle growth. So eating around a maintenance is a good place to start. A lot of people just go right to and when we talk about a maintenance or a slight deficit, it's very hard to accurately know how many calories you're burning or utilizing every day. And it's not just calories. It's the overload on the muscle tissue. So for example, you can loosely track and see if you're gaining weight or losing weight over time, but it's really about your body fat percentage and the lean mass. So it depends on what you're doing that's going to require your body to build more muscle. So it's not automatic. You can't just eat more protein. Maybe you're not training properly to trigger muscle development. Ren, how is Papa Swolio? She's great. She's very good. She's very good. Rufus is huge. So he's 5 months and 4 days, and he's like 65, almost 66 pounds. He's huge. And Papa Swolio is doing really good. She's doing really good. She's out there. She's out there somewhere. Papa Swolio, does menthol help with sleep and recovery? Menthol? I have no idea. Where do you get these questions, bro? Menthol, like a Newport? Jardel, opinion or view on the scamdemic? Which one? You need to get more specific with your question. More specific with your question.
The attacks on me, quite frankly, are attacks on science.
Canage 1021, tips on overcoming weight loss plateaus, cut more calories. That all depends. I would check out our content on the elimination diet. We don't hyper obsess over calorie counting. We focus on the food sources first. Food quality is more important than food quantity. Once you figure out which foods work best for you and you do an elimination diet, you can eat more or eat less, depending on your actual physique goals. It's more important to focus on the proper food quality. Nate the 68, what should be my prep meals? Huh? What should be my prep meals? Lazy questions. All right, let's take this one. Alejo Dario. Papa Swole, I never went to the fucking gym, but I'm slim. What can I eat to start? I never went to the fucking gym, but I'm slim. What can I eat to start? Sorry, my poor English. Are you going to the gym now? You never did. Are you going now? What can I eat to start? Get yourself some steak. Get yourself some beef. Make a steak, get some ground beef. Hopefully get some grass-fed beef. Start there, my man. Good for you. Go to the gym. Make some fucking gains.
Yow.
You switch the samples.
Make some fucking gains. Only Swole Lewis. Hey, do you think that fitness trackers are accurate when it comes to the calorie burning part? Because apparently I burned 152 calories today. That's it. I think you probably burned a lot more. I don't use any of those. I would not personally put too much stock in them. It's going to tell you how many it depends on what you're trying to quantify. If you can tell certain things in terms of heart rate monitors and things like that, if you're like an endurance athlete, you can maybe catch some signs of, overtraining or under recovery when it comes to like elevated heart rates. But I would never look to that for your calorie burning requirements. Like, why do you care? Have you only been up for like 5 minutes or 10 minutes, 152 calories? I don't think you only burn that. And you're not burning anything. Energy is just, your body is creating heat. Your body processes are creating and giving off heat. Your muscles are contracting. You're just using energy, and your body gives off heat, which is what calorie is. That's what energy does. So the more activity you do, the more heat you'll give off, right? The more calories the more energy you give off. So the more energy you have to replace technically, right? But if you have more lean mass, the more energy your body and the more heat your body is giving off on a standard basis. So if you have more lean mass, you are utilizing more calories that are at resting periods, which if you are trying to lose extra body fat, that's important and that's beneficial, because then at rest, you'll be utilizing more calories from fat because you're at rest and your body has a higher resting metabolic rate because of your increased muscle mass. So when you build more muscle, you will utilize more calories at rest, and high percentage, and those calories are going to be from body fat stores. Jacob, there's not enough space to fully explain myself, but thanks for the answer. I'm not so much concerned about training as much as my healthy food intake. Meal prep is definitely something I need to do. Yeah, and you got to figure out which foods you like, because obviously if you like them or you like the taste, like certain types of meat, for example, you might like more than others, or the way you like the preparation. So food is fuel, but at the same time, like I enjoy the food that I eat, but of course you're going to have certain ways of preparation that you're going to like more than others. So figure out the foods, do an elimination diet, figure which foods work best for your body, which foods don't cause you digestive issues, get that really narrowed down, make sure you're getting sunlight, all those good things, proper sleep, and then navigate towards the way you like to prepare those foods the most, and then be consistent with it. All right, let's see here. J Todd 405, Papa Swole, what's the mentally toughest workout for you? Mine is Bulgarian split squats. Why does everyone say this? Why is everyone always crying about Bulgarian split squats online? Look down when you're doing Bulgarian split squats so no one can see you crying. Why is everyone crying during? It's a good exercise. If you're crying during, like if you're sensitive for Bulgarian split squats, you're probably not going to make too much progress. You should be crying during most exercises. All of them should be challenging. Mentally toughest workout. I don't think like that. I never do. Like which one? They're all hard. They're all mentally tough, because if you're pushing yourself properly, doing something that you should be doing, it's going to be fucking hard. I mean, I don't know. All of them should be challenging. Let's see. Matt PP3. Matt PP. All right, Papa Swolio, help. I want to go to the fucking gym, but my wife says I can't today. Should I get divorced? Obviously.
We choose truth over facts.
Your wife says I can't today. Okay. Your wife has two black eyes, huh? All right. No. Why doesn't she go with you? That's a silly question. My wife says I can't. Well, go anyway. Go to the fucking gym. Take her with you. Elliot, Papa Swolio, do you always eat food as fuel or do you also eat meals because it's yummy? I love the food that I eat. The food is fuel, but I love the foods that work best for me. So I love them. I love to eat them. And yeah, I fuel up and I enjoy eating them. Delicious. I fucking love them. I love them. I love my steak. I love my food. Tommy McClurg, Papa Swolio, what's your opinion on training 3 days a week? Upper body, lower body, heavy lifts. That's a separate day. Upper body, lower, and then heavy lifts. Why would that be a split? You're not doing heavy on upper body or lower body? What does that mean? I'm confused. You can do upper body, you could do upper lower, or you can do like chest and biceps, legs, and then back and triceps. Boom. You could throw in some anterior deltoid work on chest and bicep day, and you could do your middle and posterior on back and tricep day. I mean, you could do it that way too. It depends, right? It depends. You need to give me the whole breakdown. Like, what do you mean heavy lifts? Like deadlifts? But what about lower body? You don't want to do lower body and then do deadlifts the next day, for example. So it really depends on what you're doing. So 3 days a week is fine, but I would repeat that. So why would you only be training 3 days a week is my curiosity. You're only lifting 3 days a week. What's your goal? What are you trying to accomplish? Because here's the thing, and this is actually a good point that is going to expand into a greater response. And the reason is a lot of times people try to do a training protocol and they're not working their life into a training protocol. For example, they might get something online that's like, hey, a 6-day-a-week training program, but they really can only execute a proper training workout based on their schedule and access to gym equipment and stuff 3 days a week. So you're trying to force, a square peg into a round hole. So you need to make sure that your goals, your ambitions, what you want to accomplish and what you're trying to get out of your training is what you're doing. And a lot of times people try to they want results, but they don't really know what those results look like. So they end up focusing on the wrong things and they think like, oh, I'll train 3 days a week. I'll train 4 days a week. It's kind of arbitrary. You can train 4 days a week if you do enough volume and you train properly and you get all those things done. You can train 5 days a week if you split it up and do less volume over more days. It really depends on what you're trying to accomplish. So 3 days a week, and then 1 or 2 days off, and then you repeat the cycle. Like you could do that too. Or only 3 days. You just don't want to expect amazing results or next level results or top tier results when you're putting in moderate effort, right? So you have to make sure that your actions are actually going to match your expectations and what effort you're putting in. There's no shortcuts to all this shit. Ryan, Papa Swolio, how do you encourage someone to take better care of themselves? Really hard. First off, you have to be doing it. So you have to lead by example. It depends on who it is, I would say. If you have good communication with that person, you can just, sit down with them and actually have a heart-to-heart and let them know like how important it is. Does it come up in conversation? Is it like a boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife? Is it a parent? Is it a sister, sibling? Big difference. But bottom line, if you're trying to get someone to do something, it usually is going to require you to actually have that lifestyle. So if you're not leading by example, who are you to tell someone else to do something if you're not doing it yourself? Like, hey, you should be eating better while you're sitting there eating Doritos and drinking soda. You should be going to the gym. They're like, when's the last time you went to the fucking gym? And you're like, well, I went, last week, but I've been busy, but you need to really get your health together, right? So you don't want to be a hypocrite. Make sure you're doing it yourself. There's different ways to encourage someone, but no matter who they are, like more context would be great, but no matter what, you need to be doing it yourself. You need to be doing it yourself. So that's the minimum, right? That's the minimum. Let's see. Z Jansen 7, Papa Swolio, do you need to exercise if you have an active job lifting, stacking boxes, building pallets? Fuck yeah. That's not specific exercise. And that's not for you either. Just because you're doing physical labor doesn't mean you're actually doing targeted training that's going to build all your muscles evenly and proportionately and minimize your risk of pain. One of the problems when you're doing an active job is you're doing a lot of repetitive movements. So you're going to have muscle imbalances because you're not doing balanced movement. You're doing repetitive movements that job specifically requires. You're bending a certain way. You're turning a certain way. So if you're loading, bending and turning, you're always bending forward a certain way, lifting a certain size box, and you're always turning to the right. You're going to have imbalances with obliques, with your hip flexors, with your glutes. You're going to have a lot of imbalances because you're doing a repetitive motion over and over again. So training fundamentally, like doing yoga and also general strength training and mobility, you are going to create balance around those joints. So you'll mitigate your risk of injury doing all sorts of activities, including your day job. Activity is good. You have an active job, but your body's also going to adapt to that. So it doesn't mean that you're going to have muscle, doesn't mean you're going to be lean, doesn't mean you're going to not have extra body fat. So you need to be eating properly, but also the training is for you. You lifting weights and you exercising and training will give you more energy for that active job. So you're going to be less fatigued when you do that active job. You're going to have less risk of injury. You're just going to feel better. I mean, honestly, one of the best things to do before an active job is to actually train first, because you're going to have that nice pump. You're going to have that be, energized. Training after an active job, you're just going to be drained. So make sure you fill your cup first. Let's see. Cerny, can vitamin D deficiency cause fatigue? Yeah, sure. I mean, I'm not sure if that's a specific side effect, but I would assume it is, because when I get sunlight, I feel vitamin D or getting sunlight, for example, is great for lowering anxiety. It makes me feel great. I have more energy when I'm out in the sun. Just think about it. Causing fatigue, if you're inside in the winter, you're not getting sun, it can definitely have all sorts of negative side effects. Vitamin D deficiency is really, really prevalent in our culture. And that's one of the things that led to COVID and like the flu taking so many people out, because people are unhealthy, and getting sick in the winter is really about vitamin D deficiencies, and people are so unhealthy. And your immune system is directly related to the food that you eat, your health of your gut and your gut biome, your digestive system. Having leaky gut and having autoimmune reactions and having your body attack itself with inflammatory responses from the food that you're eating on a constant basis is compromising your immune system. So there's all sorts of like fatigue, brain fog, bloating, joint pain. Your immune system is compromised. Like, people are so compromised already, and they're compromised based on their own actions. So they're willfully compromising themselves. So having a cheat meal, going out drinking, not getting sleep, just not taking care of their health, they're willingly compromising themselves. That's like having a car that you care about and just kind of like leaving nails in your driveway. So slacking on your health, taking care of yourself, it's just sprinkling the road with nails and be like, hey, it might poke a hole, it might not, but what the hell? You're just compromising the integrity of your car, your driving experience, or the safety of your car, the safety of your body. You're compromising your body. And then when you encounter all of a sudden, like you have some nails in your tire, but it's not poked all the way through and you have to make a hard turn and then the tire blows. Yeah, it's because you've been putting yourself in a situation where your structure was compromised from the start. So if your body is compromised all the time and then you encounter a virus, you're going to be compromised because you already are, and you're going to have those side effects. Guitar jams and beyond. What are some of your favorite leg stretches for tired legs? Tired legs. Stretches for tired legs. Is that what you really mean to say? Like sore legs, you mean? My legs are tired. Here's a stretch. Just bending forward, putting your palms on the ground is great. There's a lot of great leg stretches. All of them. Pigeon pose is a great one too. Pigeon pose. Do some yoga. Hips and twists for sure. Do a yoga class. Do a yin yoga class. Actually, one more question. One more question here. Kind of close it all off. This is from Bidget or Bigette. Is weightlifting and strength training as good for burning calories and fat as is cardio? It's superior. It's superior to burning fat. If you want to get leaner, you need to build muscle. It's fine if you want to do some cardio as like a spice and just for general health, but you can do kettlebell, you could do sauna. There's different ways to get your heart rate elevated. You could do sprints, you could do plyometrics, you could do sled work. You don't have to do a boring long distance run and have terrible form and jack up your knees and your back. You don't have to go running or being on a treadmill or an elliptical machine. You'll do much, much better locking down your nutrition, doing strength training, and getting more sleep if you want to metabolize more fat. Build muscle, build lean mass. Your body burns almost 100% of the calories at rest from fat. So your body will tap into fat stores when you're at work, in the car, sleeping. And if you have more lean mass, you'll metabolize more fat at rest. So that's the best thing to do, is to make sure you have, it doesn't mean you can't do cardiovascular training, but your focus should be on strength training. Okay, let's give away today's Swole car. We got some Swole cake beaches. And a reminder, tomorrow at 12 noon Eastern time, we have our Swole Fam accountability meeting. Tomorrow, Monday, May 23rd, 12 noon. Join today, swolenormousx.com. And be there for tomorrow's live call. We got some new releases. It's going to be fucking fire. So be there. Beaches, Falcon. I know. Let's get some Swole cake. Let's get some Swole cake. We got a winner. Andrea Sanchez. We got some Swole cake. Congratulations. Andrea. All right. Everyone gets maybe everyone gets a slice. We'll pass out free Swole cake tomorrow during the accountability meeting. Congratulations, Andrea. Send us an email to support@swolenormous.com. Swole card 220 in the subject, your mailing address in the body. The email will send you this card. And Swole fam, we will see you tomorrow at 12 noon Eastern time. Goddamn fucking right. We'll take some soundboard requests if you got them. Fam, good Q&A. We got some good Q. We got some good A. Go get some sleep.
That Hansel's
Make
so
some
hot
games.
right now.
Go eat some beef. Have some fruit. Go pinch your nips. A little sexy time.
No medication except my fucking antidepressants.
I'm totally comfortable in my body. I just don't want to be in pain.
Crucifixion is good. Out of the door, line on the left, one cross each.
Down with the sickness. What you mean, you people?
What do you mean, you people? How about I send you a hobo's big cheese?
Well, folks, eliminate one tax loophole out of $1.6 trillion worth. $1.4 trillion worth. Out of $1.4 trillion.
That was a good time, fam. I hope you got your question answered. If I missed it and you're a member, join in tomorrow. You can ask again. If you're a member and I didn't get your question, tomorrow during the accountability meeting, we'll get there. We'll get you.
The three-letter word, jobs. Jobs.
We'll have to get some more. Papa Swolio. Well, don't forget, Rufus is being trained, so eventually Rufus is going to be on the show too.
Hadouken! Oh, you can!
Oh, we got it now, bitches. America.
Emotional damage. You can be fat and be healthy. I'm sorry, Lizzo, healthier than I will ever be.
Still no hands, fam. Fucking aces.
You need to stop being a lady. Quit worrying. You'll be back on your knees in no time.
All right, fam. Another great episode. Thank you for the questions. I appreciate it. I hope I answered I hope I answered every question that I saw. Make sure that you are here during the week. Remember, every time during the podcast, ask in the Ask Papa Swolio section. When we get into the knowledge cock, we take questions every single day. So tomorrow during the accountability meeting, we have new releases. We'll got recipes. We'll get some new classes. But remember, on next Monday, a week from tomorrow, we'll talk about Balls Deep all week because we have a major release event and it's going to be fucking fire. But we'll talk more about that tomorrow during the accountability meeting, 12 noon Eastern time. I will see you all there. So again, if you didn't get your question answered or you thought of something tonight, join in the live call, come up on stage or use the live chat, and Swole fam, we will talk about it all tomorrow. Peace, McGee's, deuce, magoose, your boy, Papa Swolio. Oh.
Crazy flow, need a straight jacket. Cash flow, I'm a bank addict. 6 subs, had the bass smacking. 808s, had the place clapping. 3 girls is enough for me, so I pull out like the stock crashing. Like an IPO, trying to purchase me. This a private sector, so you can't have it. Faking all that boom bapping. Who you think you is, boy? 90s want they sound back, so I give rap all these fake rappers as I take matters in my own hands. I don't need rapping, I don't need Zans. I don't need help, I'm a grown man. Now they can't left and they so mad, it's like
then yeah, I found that young king with my crown at 10 racks in the fanny pack, couple hundred in the Louis bag.
That's a bed that you made. That's a bed that you made. That's a bed that you laid. That's a bed that you laid. What kind of game is you playing? We go hard in the paint, yeah. What the fuck is you saying? I only go where they pay. What kind of game is you playing? Whoa, my shit is relevant. On topic, my melanin is popping. I'm taking skeletons on closets and making new deposits. I'm in my element, no ollie.